Hi, this is Vivian in South Carolina, and I'm going to talk to you about voting. This is not a chicken video, so if you thought chickens, just go ahead and close the video down. But the logic or illogic that's being used this election cycle has me very concerned. I love this great nation, and first off, I want to say it's not a democracy, it's a republic. You need to look up and see republic. Google republic versus democracy, or democratic society. It's that one piece of paper, the Constitution, is what makes the difference. And as the Constitution is being ignored, superseded, or overwritten, we're going to end up in a democracy, and very shortly after that into a dictatorship. That has been the cycle in history with all the republics that's ever been. So, back to voting. I've been guilty of voting for the lesser of the two evil candidates. I voted for McCain over Obama. I sincerely regret it. Please don't hate me for it. I thought I was doing the right thing, but that was not. As a person who opposes evil, lesser evil is still evil. So that logic is not logical. Gary's still walking, which is good. It's a mess. I had a person I consider to be an intelligent person post on Facebook that Trump and Hillary are very close in the polls, and that voting for a third-party candidate is really going to help Hillary. Okay, that's not logical. That makes no sense. But it's being spouted by a lot of people. You vote for somebody else, you're gonna help Hillary come in. And so I understand history. I mean, Lincoln would not have become president if the other party hadn't run two candidates that year. The party literally split and ran two different candidates, and either one could have beat Lincoln if he had run by himself without the other one. But because that party split, Lincoln, who shouldn't have gotten in, became our president. So I understand how that kind of stuff can happen, and historically it has. It's happened before. But we are supposed to vote on a one-on-one basis. Your vote is only important to you. And if you would express your own opinion, look at all the candidates. In South Carolina, there are 7 on our ballot for the President of the United States. I didn't know about 2 of them. I knew about 5. There are 2 women running. She's not Hillary's not the only female candidate. The Green Party, Stein, is a woman. But I don't stand with her on the issues. Looking at the major issues that I consider important, that's not someone I can feel good about voting for. I've had a lot of people push Gary Johnson of the Libertarian Party. Oh, if you're going to vote third party, this is the only third party candidate that has a chance at actually winning. And he's actually being acknowledged by the big media, which makes me a little leery of him because, like I said, big media funnels us more than they inform us. So you have to look at each candidate, look at what issues you hold most important. I mean, if you're pro-life or pro-choice, you got to look at the candidate that stands on that issue the way you do. I'm pro-life, but it's not a big political issue to me. I think it's more of a social issue. If I know someone who's considering an abortion, I would do whatever I could to help her go the other way. Whatever help she needed. I don't think it's a government issue. I don't think my tax dollars should pay for abortions. So that way I kind of lean toward the pro-life on that end, but I don't really want to see abortions become illegal because I just don't think it should be a legal issue one way or the other. I'm pro-jobs. I'm pro-companies if they send their jobs out, I think they should be taxed at a higher rate. Imports should be taxed at a higher rate. Jobs should be, companies that keep their jobs here should get tax breaks. Jobs that just make us more competitive. So personally, if I could write any candidate, which South Carolina doesn't allow write-ins for the President of the United States, I would vote for Mike Rowe and Dave Ramsey. Mike Rowe is president, Dave Ramsey is vice president. They're both for being debt-free. They're both for, working hard and ethical. That's the kind of values I would like to see back. But now that I know that there's 7 candidates running, and 2 of which I didn't even know about until today, I'm going to look into them and see where they stand on the issues I hold very important. And that's the way we're supposed to vote. Did that candidate represent you? Now, I know perfectly well that all politicians will, they have their stand on the issues, but then to get one thing passed, they may sacrifice a different issue to get certain things passed. That's what they call politics, bargaining. I hate it, but that's what happens in real life. I definitely think our government needs restructuring, and the one issue per bill is a definite important thing. How they put stuff in there that just, it's supposed to be one thing, but all these other things get added. And the destruction of the middle class is what's going to destroy this country. That's what made this country great. And now it's just getting harder and harder for people to make a living and support their kids. And now they're having to support their parents too. But back to voting. It's supposed to be personal. It's supposed to be what candidate most closely resembles you on the issues. It's not about what candidate you think. You're not supposed to vote for who you think is going to win. That's just defeating the whole thing. You think there's a winning side? No, that's the losing side. If it is rigged like I believe it is, it's not going to really make a difference, except that you can say, I voted for this candidate because of this reason. And not because it was the lesser of two evils, and not because you didn't want this other candidate, because I've seen the argument too, if you vote third party, you're voting for Trump. And I have a hard time understanding people who actually have faith in Trump or Hillary as going to do anything that's going to help us personally. I just see them taking us down, taking this country down even further. Anyway, yes, Rue, I have spoken enough. I agree with him. Vote your conscience on the issues. Don't look at the candidate, don't look at their gender, don't look at their skin color, don't look at their ethnicity, don't look at anything but if they're already in politics, what's their voting record? You can find it. That's public information. How have they voted on various issues? And look at where they stand. If they're going back to pro-life, but they've voted pro-choice on the issues that's come up while they were in office, then you know that that's one that they will sacrifice. Gun control, the Second Amendment rights, 10th Amendment rights of states. These are things that you should be looking at going, where do they stand on this? Where do they stand with the UN? There's a lot of things with the UN that's very anti-America. There's where do they stand on terrorism, dealing with terrorism, dealing with illegal immigrants or aliens, invaders. Where do they stand on those issues? I mean, what do you consider really important? What's affecting your life? So don't fall for these polls either. Who did the polls? Who paid for it? Where was the polls conducted? A poll in California is going to be very different than a poll done here in South Carolina. The mentality is totally different. Polls done in different areas of Texas alone can be vastly different. Was the poll conducted outside of a college? If it was one of these liberal arts colleges, you're going to get a totally different mindset than you would outside of a retirement home, per se, or outside of a military base. Militaries have overall voted Republican because the Democrats have squashed the military. They've cut them at their knees basically almost every time they've been in office. That's how a lot of Bill Clinton's he balanced the budget. Great, that was fantastic. But if you stop and look at what he did, I mean, he almost destroyed South Carolina because we didn't vote for him. And anytime there's a Democrat in office, South Carolina gets several hits. And South Carolina is one of 11 states, and you may be also living in one, where the government supports more than half of the population, directly or indirectly. Directly, like welfare checks, Social Security. A lot of people work for the state, local county, city, federal offices, federal services. A lot of military people, a lot of retired military people are here too. So more than half the population in South Carolina has to wait for the government to pay them. That's not sustainable. So even though South Carolina is bringing in jobs, it's still upside down. And these are things you need to look at. This is not good for any community to be that reliant on a business or government sector. So figure out what's important to you, and then look at the candidate that thinks this as closely to your way of thinking, and not my way of thinking, not your spouse's way of thinking. What do you think is important? Then look at where the candidate stands on the issues. That's all I'm encouraging. No name calling, not allowed. I may be an idiot, but you can't call me that on my channel. I may be a feminist. I don't think I am. I just believe in equal rights for everybody, even those that don't deserve it. But I love this country, and I hate what I'm seeing, and I don't like the division I'm seeing caused by this election cycle. Neither Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump are worthy of this office that they're running for. They're not. And I don't look forward to either one of them sitting in that Oval Office. And I have great concerns. So, a lot more praying. Thanks for watching.